Good morning, everybody, and happy Republic Day.
Good morning, ma'am.
So we are going to be talking today
morning, ma'am.
an introduction to how to boost your brain power. So let me start sharing my screen. Yes, great. Okay. So all of us, how many of you feel that you're putting your brain to full use? Show of hands. Keep your videos on and show me your hands. How many of you feel, can you all see this presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We can able to.
Yes,
So
yes.
how many of you feel that you're putting your brain to maximum use? How many of you feel you can
Not
use
at
it
all, ma'am.
better? How many of you feel you can use it better?
Yeah, I feel it, ma'am.
Okay, right. So let us see. See, your brain uses only a fraction of its capacity. Do you think it's true or false?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you mean by yes, man? Is it true or false? Is
True.
it true that the brain is
True,
using
it's
only a
true.
fraction of its capacity?
True.
It's true.
So
True.
we look at it as the hard disk. And so we expect it to be a little bit more efficient than that. So let us see how that is possible. Before that, some of you are new. Some of you already know me. And who am I and why? I want to first thank all of you for taking time off on a holiday and deciding to spend this little time with me so that I can share some of my knowledge and learnings with you to help you. I am a neurologist and a neurosurgeon primarily. I have been practicing in the city of Chennai for over 45 years. So I've helped a lot of patients to regain their maximum quality of life, no matter what illness they've been through or whatever happened to them in their life. I myself am a cancer survivor and I've had to face a lot of challenges and I've learned a lot of lessons from that. And during COVID, I started this initiative called Be Your Best with Dr. Prithika Chary, which is an online initiative. And over the past, from 2020 October, we have learned different ways in which to run this whole initiative. It is maturing now to a better form. Earlier, we were doing a lot of free webinars and Insta Lives. And, sometimes I feel we were doing too much because people also have to find time to attend, isn't it? So some of the feedback I got was that there are too many programs. So we tried to fine tune it. We learned certain ways. I upskilled myself. I spent nearly 30-40 lakhs learning how coaching skills and soft skills training and various other things to improve my digital ability to do programs. So with that, we have now fine-tuned it to a certain process. We are doing group coaching programs episodically, which run for 10 weeks at a time. And the time commitment for the participant is 2 hours once a week. And they're sent a mini video, which they can watch at their own leisure. And we have various topics. Right now, we've already got a program running for rebooting your brain for resilience. Now, we're going to be launching the program, Boost Your Brain Power, from 1st of February. So this is sort of an introduction to that program. First and foremost, all of us would have heard this. Here and there, you'll hear saying that most of us use only 10% of our brain. How many of you think it's true? Okay, few hands are going up. So actually, we use every part of the brain. It is not possible to use only 10% of your brain and not use the rest of it, because the brain works in its totality. Now, all the brain regions may not be active at the same time. And all the areas may not be used to the same extent in the course of the day, or it all depends on what we are doing. So if we are reading, we use a different area to a different extent. If we are solving a mathematical problem, we use it different. Talking on the phone, the amount of energy will be less. Driving, it will be different. Sleeping will be different. So it has been studied quite extensively, and now we know more about the brain than we knew in the past 100 years. But what is very true is that our conscious mind, which is the one mind that we actively use, is only 10% of our real mind. Our subconscious mind is 90%. Now, the analytical thinking, planning, absorbing, learning, short-term memory, all that is in the conscious mind. Now, the subconscious mind is a very powerful thing. It has got your long-term memory. Whatever happened to you in the past will be stored there with both the emotion and the feeling surrounding that experience. It is responsible for your habits, for your relationship patterns, for your any addictions that you may have. Now, don't forget, addiction does not only mean smoking, alcohol, and drugs. Addictions are, we also get addicted to some bad habits. Many of us have bad habits to which we are addicted. Your involuntary body functions. See, the heart beats, the BP maintains, the digestion happens. All of this happens without your control. So all that is happening in the subconscious mind. Some amount of creativity is there in the subconscious mind, but a lot of creativity is actually in the conscious mind. And your intuition, your gut feeling about things, all of that is in the subconscious mind. So this may be the reason why people say you're using only 10%. But you really cannot use 10%. When you apply your mind, you're drawing on all the subconscious mind sources also, and you're using the whole brain in its entirety. Now, the subconscious mind has got a fixed capacity based not on biology, but it is based on the biology of beliefs. Your subconscious mind is the habit mind. It is what has developed there. It is like downloading software. Now see, when we download a very complicated software, which is high performing, it will run, your computer will run a little slower, but you will get more efficiency, and you will get more benefit from it. If you want your computer to run fast, what you do, you take a lower level software, and it depends on the capacity of the computer. Now, supposing you have a very basic computer with basic software, iOS, then it's not going to be able to handle a complicated software which you may get. So like that, the subconscious mind has a certain specific capacity, which is based not because that is its only capacity. It is because of all your thoughts, your social influences, the environment you grew up in, your experiences, your perception, and most importantly, your beliefs. So if there are some beliefs which are negative, which are stuck there, that will influence the way you run the computer, because that software is, the way you run the software. That computer has got the capacity only to not to run a positive belief, because it's so full of negative beliefs. So this is based on our belief system, and it is not a biological fact. So what is the good news by knowing this? It means you can change it anytime. If you change your belief system, you can change the capacity of your brain to be able to handle more complicated software. So that is the first good news you get about this myth that we use only 10% of the brain. So we have the conscious mind, we have the pre-conscious mind, where all the mental processes that we are going to bring to the conscious mind are parked there. You have the unconscious mind, which which goes on without your knowledge, and you got a whole library or repository of data, which is based on your entire life experience. So, depending on the size of your goal, your subconscious mind will limit you at that level. So, if you have a small goal, your subconscious mind, whenever you try to exceed that level of goal, your subconscious mind will make you fail. It will tell you, no, this is all your capacity, don't exceed it. And when the conscious mind takes over and tells the subconscious mind, look here, I know that I'm capable of more, I can do more. You can influence the subconscious mind to stop arresting you and allowing you to do more. So if the subconscious and the conscious mind are synced perfectly together, this whole thing will be better. So do you want to learn how to do this? Yes, you will learn this in the course which we are going to launch. The conscious mind is the creative mind. It is the one which prepares, incubates information, enlightens us, verifies information, and then gives the solution to the issue or problem or how to deal with a particular situation. So the creative thing is, it silences your mind. The subconscious mind will keep on, like little voices will keep on telling you, you can't do this, this is not, you're not good enough, you're not this. All of us have this. And this is based on the programming you have received below the age of 7 years. So you need to take the conscious mind and cultivate a burning desire to reach out and go further. Then you have to focus intently with consciousness, with awareness, and handle it, and you can do whatever you set your mind to do. See, at a conscious level, we can process 120 bits of information. That itself is pretty amazing. But at a subconscious level, we can process 11 million bits of information. So what is the interpretation of this? Whether you like it or not, even though you're consciously trying to control the way you are thinking, your emotions, your whatever, the subconscious mind thoughts will keep crowding you. The little voice in your head will keep on talking, will keep on crowding you. And you see the proportion of, so it is very powerful. And if your subconscious mind is full of a lot of negative information, that is what is going to surface. And no matter how much you're trying on your positive side. So the effort to override a negative thought is 6 to 7 times effort. You have to put in 6 to 7 positive thoughts in order to override a single negative thought. Now, we all have about 60,000 thoughts in our mind, of which 40,000 are negative thoughts. So it's very difficult. We have to consciously keep on what we call as weeding out the negative thoughts, and we have to consciously start seeding in the good thoughts or the positive thoughts or whatever. When you're able to do this, when you have a subconscious intention and you have a conscious focus, you become the best version of yourself. You're working at your highest potential. And sometimes even you will be surprised what you're capable of doing. So when you mix your emotion, your intention, your passion, etc., your inner genius comes to the surface. So when you're operating with perfect coherence and flow between conscious and subconscious mind, you'll find solutions to even difficult problems. Do you want to know how to do this? Yes, you will learn this also in this course. Sometimes in certain dysfunctional states, the brain gets stuck. Now, like for instance, in psychosis and delusion, the thought process keeps on looping again and again and again. The same overthinking happens. In obsessive compulsive disorder and addiction, here again, there's a repeating loop. You know that taking a drink gives you a kind of pleasure. So what you do is you self-reinforce that pleasure. And it's a repetitive loop and it becomes an addiction. Actually, even in disease states, there is the brain can get stuck. Like for a coma, for instance, there is like a computer hanging. The brain function is hanging when a patient becomes comatose. In an epileptic seizure, for instance, there is an abnormal signaling overload, and you can get a temporary computer crash, which you can reset. So when you compare it to a computer, you will understand that the capacity of the computer determines the software that it can handle. So the capacity of your subconscious will determine how much your conscious mind can influence it and make you do things which are challenging. So this is the fundamental thing which you will be understanding in greater depth in the course. There is a concept of neuroplasticity. Now I said because of this, it shows that you can change anything in your brain. For a long time, we thought the brain is not capable of changing. We know now it can change right up to the point of death. So you can change your life by taking control of this process of syncing the subconscious and the conscious mind to work at its best. There are three concepts of neuroplasticity which you will be learning in depth. One is neurons that wire together, fire together. So the more you do something again and again and again, the better that pathway will form in the brain. Now, so when you're learning a good habit or a new habit, if you keep practicing, if you are consistent and you daily practice, in 21 to 66 days, it will become automatic. The second neuroplasticity concept is if you don't lose it, you use it, you lose it. So this applies if you don't use a pathway, the nature has no room for redundance. If something is not used, it gets rid of it. It's not like in an office where you can have people who are working, people who don't do work, and they are still kept in the job. If you're not doing any work, you're out. So if you don't use it, you lose it. But this don't use it, lose it becomes useful and a different kind of negative neuroplasticity in the brain when you're trying to get rid of a bad habit. Now, let us say you have a bad habit which you want to get rid of. So the less you do it, the more that pathway will shrivel and go away. So when you keep doing a good habit over and over and over again, neurons that wire together, fire together. So when you stop doing a bad habit and keep on stop doing it, the don't use it and you lose it neuroplasticity concept will rescue you. Also, there are loops in the brain which we can create by certain specific habits, which will give us a feeling of comfort, security, survival, etc. There are some automatic loops already in existence because the brain's main function is to keep you safe, to prevent you from getting into danger, from protecting you from anything which can damage you. So when you use these three pillars of neuroplasticity and you function with coherence and synchrony between conscious and subconscious, you will function at your highest capacity, which you're probably doing only 10% of the time. So you will learn this also in the course and learn how to increase and use neuroplasticity for your benefit. Another controversy which many people keep on talking about, especially in education, is our education is left brain based, maybe mainly verbal. Right brain functions are usually visual, spatial, creative kind of functions like art, music, etc. So each does an individual be exclusively right brained or left brained, or what actually is happening in the brain when we talk about this left brain, right brain concept? It shows that almost all brain functions require both the hemispheres to function and carry it out accurately. But there is a predominance of one side of the brain which gets more for certain functions. For instance, the left brain is better at logical thinking, analysis, sequential thinking, stacking of facts, mathematics, giving meaning to certain verbal aspects. The right brain is better with intuition, art, creation, your emotions, your feeling, your imagination. So there is a preference for certain functions, but it does not mean that that brain only does that function. It does it better than the opposite. That is all. We need all the brain, and there is a connection band of tissue between the two sides called the corpus callosum, which is rapidly talking to each other. The two brains talk to each other. So because what the brain is, it's a perfect model for power, efficiency, and performance. It does not waste any energy, does not waste any blood flow. It always is attempting to do the perfect performance. And this is a natural process. And when you learn skills to make this a better and better thing, you're actually going to make a better brain. You're building a better brain. You will learn that also in this course. The next thing everybody keeps asking is a man's brain different from a woman's brain? Is there a gender difference in the brain? So what does recent neuroscience say? We are going to be teaching you what is the latest concept, but I'll just give you an inkling now. See, there are many differences between the two. But men and women can learn equally. So it should not be that you cannot tell a person, cannot tell a girl, no, that is a man, men are, or only men can study that, or a man can be told only women should study that. The differences, there are differences. The differences are both anatomical and functional, because the way the brain is wired is different, and the brain handles information in a different way. It's not that it cannot handle the information, it handles it in a different way. Now, what is that way? It shows that in a typical male brain, most of the connections go from back to front. If you look here, this is called a connectome. It connects different functional areas of the brain. And this shows significant differences between men and women. If you look here, their spatial skills, their motor skills are better in men. And they tend to be, when they're functioning, they will tend to be more on the left brain or more on the right brain in a particular task. So they find it difficult to pull information from the opposite hemisphere to use for doing this task. Now, let us say that a man is drawing a map. It's a visuospatial task, which is a right brain function. Now, in that map, he also has to put the words. Now, the words come from the left brain. The verbal material comes from the left brain. They will find it difficult to be able to do both together. They will finish all the drawing part, then they will start doing the word part. Whereas in a woman's brain, the two hemispheres are constantly talking to each other. So what happens? This actually gives you energy efficiency. So for the same amount of drawing a map and naming the cities in it, a woman's brain will consume less energy, less blood flow. Whereas a man's brain will take up more energy and more blood flow. So the way we handle material is different, but there is no clear thing that you can't do this and you can do this. There is a preference sometimes. So that is the difference. And that is one of the reasons why it is believed that women have better intuition, because they're able to pull information from either brain and utilize it together. So men and women don't learn differently. Women in general do better with verbal and writing ability, and men are better with visuospatial skills and problem solving. And of course, you must also add our upbringing to this. You see, the way we are brought up also varies. There are many women who grow up with 3-4 brothers, and they develop a lot of skills which men have. So the social connotation to influence that is also important. So you will learn more about this also in this course. Now, does the size of the brain have any connection with intelligence? So now these are all things I'm sure you have all thought about it sometime in your life. And you wondered, I wonder if I can know more. We are going to be telling you how to know more. See, when we evolved from a type of human being like this to the present Homo sapiens kind of person. And the brain also evolved, and it evolved through 3 stages. And actually, if you look at this stage is where we are similar to the gorilla or the primate. You'll find that the brain is pretty big. But what happened? I told you there's no room for redundancy in nature. So as we became more and more efficient, became more and more able to use tools, became more and more able to develop language and our reasoning, our intelligence, our judgment, all that, actually the brain became smaller, because what it did was it got rid of all the unnecessary volume of brain which was taking up function for various other more base kind of functions. So actually the brain became a little smaller, and then it stabilized at this size. And this also shows you how the brain size has changed and at various levels. So the size of the brain is not linked to intelligence or learning new material. But having said that, there is a lot you would have read on the internet about Einstein's brain, which they autopsied and looked, and they found that one portion of his brain on one side was larger. Now, when you compare the brains of thinkers, writers, and all that at autopsy, there's no conclusive evidence that size has a correlation with intelligence. But when you use a part of your body more, like say, let us take a musician who's a pianist. When you use your hand area more in the piano, your hand area in the brain will be little better developed than the hand area of someone else who does not use their hands to play such complicated things like a piano. So you will learn about this also in the course. Now, why are we doing this course? Why do you have to know anything about the brain? Because we all, who am I? I'm a doctor, isn't it? So why do I also, okay, I'm a neurologist. So, okay, I'm interested in conveying to you how to use your brain better. All that is fine. But what connection does it have with you? The connection is that it is holistic health. If your mind is, we have these 5 levels of holistic health: mental, emotional, social, physical, and spiritual. So if your mental health is good, and if you improve anything in any one area, all the other areas also improve. So many of us are very good. Some of us are very bad also at it, at physical health. We do all that's necessary to improve our physical health. But we don't realize that changes that you make in your physical health can automatically also improve your mental health. Changes you make in your mental health can automatically improve your emotional health, how you get along with people, your social health, and your peace of mind at the end of the day, your spiritual health. So this is the reason why we are even, designing such courses and trying to give it to all of you. So when we look at brain health, we know most of the things that we know regarding good health, like sleep, exercise, mental exercises, water, food, all that comes into play. But did you know the deeper connection that all these have with the way your brain functions? So we'll be teaching you how to improve your brain health, how to boost your brain power, how to train your brain to stay relevant to what you're doing and into the social situation in which you are. We will be teaching you habits which can boost your brain activity. We will be addressing the importance of what you think and how you feel on what you do. So this is very, very crucial. I told you about the weeding and the seeding. We will give you little methods how you can exercise your brain. For instance, this is an example. These are exercises for improving the neuroplasticity of developing a new habit or a new way of doing things. There are mantras, there are affirmations. You can listen to them, you can repeat them. Supposing you go on from morning to night telling yourself subconsciously, I am a master of my thoughts, habits, and emotions. I am in control of my thoughts, habits, and emotions. I am unstoppable. Supposing you repeat them every day for half an hour, force yourself to write them every morning. Will it or will it not make a change? It will create a new pathway due to neuroplasticity. And this will become your autopilot pathway. Meditation does the same thing through focused breathing and guided meditation. Then there is something called the bracelet technique, which you'll wear an elastic bracelet on your wrist. And when you're getting these negative thoughts, you snap it so that it causes pain on your wrist. Now, when you do that, you're associating the negative thoughts with the pain. And so after that, you will do something, the seeding part of it, and actively change the negative thought. And once you do that, you will go through a process of celebrating the win that you have and give yourself a reward. So when you create this loop, you're creating a loop which is going to be associating the negative thought with pain and associating the facing the challenge and overcoming it with a celebration and a reward. So you face your fear and you reward yourself for having done it. Like this, we'll be teaching you a lot of little things which you can do to be at your best. Remember, most of us are being advised to go low on fat in our diet because for heart health, fats are not very good. But there are healthy fats which you can take because your brain is 60% fats. If you want your brain to be healthy, you need to have healthy fats. And coconut oil has undergone a lot of bad press unnecessarily because excess coconut oil was bad for the heart. But when you use your oils sensibly, coconut oil is one of the best healthy fats under the sun. So all Keralites in the group can rejoice when they hear that. Olive oil is good. Olives are good. Nuts, seeds, avocado, all of these are healthy fats, and we'll tell you a little bit more about your healthy brain foods and what will help you. The next thing is that your brain is 85% water. So many of us don't drink enough water. Adequate hydration is very necessary for your brain to work. We don't think it is important, especially when we are busy in the office from say 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock, we forget to drink water. So drinking water is very crucial for good health and good brain health. Then sleep. During sleep, a lot of good things happen. Your thought processes become more efficient. Sleep rejuvenates and regenerates and heals your body. It regulates your appetite. It resets and retunes your organs. It solidifies your long-term memory. It can stimulate creative thinking because when you dream or when there are some things you will notice that they say sleep on it. So you want a solution to a problem. And when you sleep on it, sometimes you wake up in the morning with a solution. And sleep also clears out a lot of harmful toxins. So we will be telling you what is the ideal, what is the sleep cycle like in the brain, what is the ideal sleep you need to get, how you can do it better. Now, after listening to all this, are you still wondering why you need to know and learn all this? So put on your videos and tell me how many of you are still wondering, why the hell should I learn all this? Why should I know all this? Anybody is still doubtful? I know many of you, some of you will have fear and doubt. Fear because what I don't know, don't hurt. If I don't know it, I can carry on in the same humdrum fashion in which I'm living my life. Then doubt. Okay, she's a neurologist, so she's saying all this. Do you really think I can apply this in my daily life? Then, of course, you will have your inbuilt resistance to change. See, if you have to incorporate all these new habits and tap into neuroplasticity, you have to, neurons that wire together has to be done. I told you that it takes 21 to 66 days, consistency, repetition, practice. So maybe you got a resistance. Oh my God, that's all too much. The other thing that you may be resistant to change is, I have to consciously try not to do my bad habits. I have to consciously stay away from, so I have to use it and, lose the bad pathways. So you already may be feeling in your mind, there's a resistance to change. Now, why do you have this resistance to change? It is because you are sitting in your comfort zone. But only if you come out of your comfort zone will you see the magic in your life. Because this is where the magic happens. Your comfort zone is one trap in which you are. So you have to shake off your comfort zone and be willing to take the effort and the trouble. Now, when you attend this course, that is taking effort, taking trouble, getting out of your comfort zone, being open to change. So all of these will happen if you join a course like that, because there'll be others also in the course with you. So you may be you may think, okay, that's just too much. I can't handle all that. But why should you do all this? Because when you do all this and boost your brain power, you will delay or avoid all the bad things that happen in the cells of the brain due to brain aging. None of us is growing younger every day. All of us are growing older every day. And every day when we grow older, there is something known as cellular senescence or aging of the cells. So there is something called the telomere at the end of the chromosome which gets shorter. The mitochondria, which is the energy center of the cell, becomes dysfunctional. The stem cells or the ability to form new cells comes down. apoptosis, destruction of damaged cells takes place. Neuronal death, nerve cells actually die. So in the healthy brain, you can get DNA damage, oxidative stress, inflammation, protein aggregation, etc. So for this reason, and if you want to avoid the changes that happen, this is a normal healthy brain as it's growing older. But if you get moderate Alzheimer's, this is how your brain looks. This is a normal brain, this is Alzheimer's. So if you want to delay Alzheimer's, if you want to avoid Alzheimer's, decide today. Now, this is my why I'm doing all this. You have to ask, what is your why? My why is strong enough, so I figured out a way how to convey this to you. So what is your why? Because if you decide on your why, your how and your what becomes clear. What we are giving you through the program, how we are going to guide you through the program. So learn that there are benefits to invest in yourself. Some of you may be thinking, why should I invest in myself? Why should I? The money may be an issue because we're charging 15,000 for this 10-week course. So, but you have to decide what other expenditure would you do for 15,000, which would be wasteful. You are investing in yourself. You are actually watering and growing yourself. So having a growth mindset and growing yourself is worth your while. Remember to take care of yourself. Sometimes you're so busy taking care of others that you forget that you are important too. So it's time for change. And those of you who are stimulated enough by now to understand the necessity and importance of learning how to boost. I'm here, I'm the expert. I have the experience, I have the expertise. I'm offering it to you. And we're offering it to you in a very structured manner. And we're telling you, you can do it for 2 hours a week for 10 weeks. So which is actually a lot of, unimaginable value. So, but as long as you are convinced that you've never done anything, you're not willing to do anything, you will never do anything. You'll just be staying in wherever you are now. So you have to decide. Just because you haven't done it in the past doesn't mean you can't do it now. So take action now. And if you're interested, it will be on every Wednesday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The course fee is 15,000 rupees. The first session will be on 1st of February. You can go to my website and you can make the payment and you can register. Or all I'm asking you to do is invest 10 days of boosting your brain power in yourself. 10 days in your entire life is not a long time. And this is the payment link. For those of you who want to copy it, you can copy it, but it will also be available on the website, or you can send a WhatsApp message to me, or write a letter to me, or whatever you want. This is the payment link. You click on that and you will find, you note it down, and then you can make the payment. Remember, nothing will work. We will give you the support, but nothing will work by just coming and listening and attending those 10 weeks. You will have to practice. That is why we give it once a week. We give you things to practice throughout the week. You have to be consistent. You have to be patient, because changes don't happen overnight. But when you do this, you will definitely succeed. You will see a transformation in you in 10 weeks. So for those of you who are going to join us, I'll see you in the group coaching on 1st of February, 7 o'clock. So go there, make the payment, do whatever you have to do, and join the program. Because if you want to avoid aging changes in your brain, there is a lot you can do to make a difference to that. You can actively change. There is a study called the nun study, where they've shown that nuns who did things like this, even though when they died and the autopsy showed Alzheimer's in the brain, during life they did not show the symptoms. So if there is anybody you know with Alzheimer's, tell the family members. These are all active steps they can take for changing their brain to work better. Okay. So what did you all think? Did you get some useful information?
A lot of useful information actually.